Let's do it. Okay. Mic check. One, two, three, and I think we're good. I think we're good. We're live. Welcome back to the Perspective, where I do cultural commentary, go over some life lessons, and everything in between. Guys, I have been gone for quite some time, like quite some time, and I did not want to allow another day to go by without coming on here again with you guys. And so, why not have some fun with this and go through something I was going to go through anyway, which is this Epstein timeline? Because if you are like me, then Epstein has been all over your timeline for the past couple of weeks. Ever since, the files were supposed to be released by the Trump administration, and they have 100% Streisand effect the entire situation. From saying that there are no files to blaming Obama, right? Because that's, how this goes. There's been a lot of back and forth with these things, as it has been a main staple in like the MAGA movement. And when you think about conspiracy theories and all these different types of things, I think Epstein is one of the ones that has been up there and out there for the longest. And it's actually a bit surprising when you think about it too, because some of the reactions that I have seen from some of the people within the MAGA movement or more conservative leaning folks online in general has been surprising, because a lot of the times I get this feeling that they don't ever hold Trump accountable for things, but I don't know. This one is a bit of a breaking point for a lot of folks. So let's start from the top. We're gonna go through an Epstein timeline that I found on I think Guardian. So let's get into it together, guys. Let's have a little fun today. All right. Oh yeah, we got some we got some clips to play later, but we'll get to that. So, to start us off, we're going to start originally with this video from ABC. It's going to give a very high level view of everything, and then I'm going to go through the timeline. The timeline itself is actually going to cover some of the things that they're saying here, but this is just a high level synopsis to kind of get you up to speed for where we are today. All right, let's do it.
And gave her a thumbs up as President Trump brought Attorney General Pam Bondi along last night and gave her a thumbs up as he attended the FIFA Club World Cup final, even as some of his most fervent supporters are accusing her of a cover-up.
I don't think he realizes how much she's humiliated the administration. This is a self-inflicted wound. She caused it. Again, I have nothing against Pam Bondi, but if you want to look for the villain in this story, we have found her.
Over the weekend, Trump wrote that Bondi is doing a, quote, fantastic job, and told his supporters, "We're on Team MAGA, and I don't like what's happening." Some of Trump's supporters are blaming Bondi for the administration's decision not to release more information related to the investigation of Jeffrey Epstein.
Real quick, just before we continue, that happens to be one of the dumbest things that I have noticed and observed throughout Trump being in politics ever, right? It's one of those things that where normal people do things, then like when everyone else does something, or for example, it could be Obama, right? Or it could be Biden. It could be any person in their administration have done one thing, and they were the ones personally directing and controlling every single move that that person did. Whereas with Donald Trump, everyone looks for an excuse not to blame him. In fact, they basically go along with this idea that, like, it actually wasn't Trump who did that. It was Pam Bondi. We should blame her. Not really acknowledging that at the end of the day, with especially the way Trump moves, a lot of people, they are like, it's not like he has the knowledge of every single thing that's happening, but the buck stops with him. He's the president, and when it comes to the way he likes to manage these kind of situations, oh, he had a final say in it. And it's my view that's why this thing has been a complete cluster and an embarrassment to the administration, because he's involved. But we'll get to that more. Let's keep it going.
The accused sex trafficker who was found dead in his jail cell in an apparent suicide in 2019. Trump, like many other New York celebrities, had some association with Epstein. This video of Trump with Epstein is from 1992. When Epstein was arrested in 2019, Trump said they had previously had a falling out and had not spoken in 15 years. It was Attorney General Bondi who set expectations earlier this year that the DOJ and FBI files on Epstein would be released.
The DOJ may be releasing the list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients? Will that really happen?
It's sitting on my desk right now to review. That's been a directive by President Trump.
But in a big reversal, the DOJ and FBI have now announced the end of their investigation, writing that a review found, quote, no incriminating client list and, quote, no credible evidence that Epstein blackmailed anyone, and confirming that he had died by suicide.
Real quick, just, we'll get to that too, but that little no incriminating client list and no credible evidence that Epstein blackmailed anybody. See, the no incriminating client list is the part I find very, very interesting because, we understand how legalese works and how you can use certain words to portray a certain message, but give yourself an out because you didn't actually say the message that you were portraying. And right here, they're saying no incriminating client list. That does not necessarily mean there isn't a list. It means that the list is non-incriminating. But we'll keep going.
As for that so-called client list,
I was asked a question about the client list, and my response was, it's sitting on my desk to be reviewed, meaning the file along with the JFK, MLK files as well. That's what I meant by that.
for years, many Trump allies, including his now FBI Director Kash Patel, pushed for the release of the government files on the Epstein case, insisting they would implicate prominent Americans in a sinister plot. Here's what MAGA star Dan Bongino, now the deputy FBI.
And actually, that's kind of one of the embarrassing parts about this is because a lot of these guys, they were like, before they got in power, they were the biggest, like, Epstein has everybody. He has dirt on everybody. They were the biggest ones pushing the narrative and like saying that the government is hiding something from you. And now they are the exact ones doing that. So it's just, a bit of irony and a lot to add to the hilariousness of the entire situation. And we have a compilation of their conversations a bit later. But let's get through this main clip here and we'll keep it going.
Director said in 2019.
The questions surrounding this alleged suicide are numerous and are worth entertaining and worth getting to the bottom of quickly.
According to multiple sources, Bongino had a heated argument with Bondi at the White House last week and has told friends he may resign. Last night, Trump said he thinks Bongino is still on the job.
Is Dan Bongino still your deputy FBI director? Have you spoken to him?
I think so. I did. I spoke to him today. Dan Bongino, very good guy. I've known him a long time. I've done his show many, many times. And he sounded terrific, actually. No, I think he's in good shape.
Now, look, I'm gonna be honest, that the fact that he probably would have, let me back up. The fact that Dan Bongino was thinking about quitting kind of tells me all I really need to know about the situation. Is that he probably, like, the only time people quit during situations like that is when they might have a principled stance on something and they can no longer in good faith continue having to basically take a stance that they don't believe in, right? And so it's my guess that there is probably something now as the deputy FBI director and not just a podcaster like me sitting here on YouTube talking smack. He knows some things and he might feel a little bit differently about it than he did before. And this whole back and forth that they're doing is not satisfying for him. So let's wrap up this clip and then we'll get to the timeline. This is not exactly what I thought it would be, but it's fine. We're almost done.
In his Truth
Actually, you know what? We'll end it right
social
there.
post expressing support for Pam Bondi.
All right, we'll end it right there, yeah. All right, so guys, we're going to start at the top of this list here, and we're going to go through this Jeffrey Epstein timeline and see how everyone has been reacting to it as the time has gone by up to this point. So, all right, we'll start here at the top. So if you remember, guys, in 2019, he was charged with federal sex trafficking crimes in Manhattan court. Prosecutors alleged that he was taken into custody and he basically abused dozens of minors from 2002 to 2005 at the homes of Manhattan and Palm Beach. Now, He pled not guilty, and the charges come more than a decade after Epstein and Miami U.S. Attorney's Office reached a deal that ended a federal investigation involving at least 40 teenage girls. Epstein pleaded guilty in 2008 to state charges, served 13 months in jail, and registered as a sex offender. Now, I have to double check this, and we can double check this now, but the irony is, I believe that the Miami U.S. Attorney's Office at the time where he reached the deal, the AG at the time was Pam Bondi. So let's hold on. Let's click open this link. Let's just see if there's something there. Let's just, oh man, all these things always want to. They're forcing me to turn off my ad blocker. All right, fine. We'll turn off the ad blocker for you. I do not want this to play. Let's see if we can find any information about it really quick. But I think let's see. You know what? Let's just do it this way. We'll do it the way that is tried and true. Who was Oblivion Cloud? Who was the Miami Attorney General in 2012? Did they say? Okay, well, what year was that? What year did they say? Ended federal investigation. Epstein 2000 state charges. Okay, so that's 2012. Let's see, who was it in 2008? Maybe it wasn't her. Maybe she was coming into office. Okay, so 2008 it was it was Catherine Bernardes-Rundy. All right, fine. Okay. Pam Bondi had it a couple years later. Now, there was something a couple years later in which she had to deal with it as well. But again, she winds up being in a position of power a few years after he gets some deal in Miami. And it's just kind of funny that you have some of the same characters ultimately playing in the situation today. So, all right, let's keep it going. So yeah, dude was charged at some point. He got some deal, and they did not go further beyond that. But then again, sorry, I'm talking about the New York deal. But in 2019, he was charged, and he effectively wound up dying in federal custody in Manhattan on August 16th. And the examiner ruled that it was cause of death by suicide. Now, this is probably the beginning. I have to mention this because this was absolutely the beginning of the conspiracy theory. Like, and I don't mean for people who like always believe in conspiracy theories, the ones who believe in all conspiracy theories, the ones who are basically like the moon is flat and all these other things. Not the moon is flat, sorry, the world is flat and all these different things. And please, if you are one of those folks who are going to hop in my comments right now, we're like, well, dummy, you know, the earth is flat. Well, okay, I'm not going to fight you today. That's not what I'm going to do. But, you know, that's how you feel. That's how you feel. It is what it is. But I will say with this one in particular, though, I feel like everybody kind of started to feel that as well. I mean, I am not necessarily the most conspiracy minded myself. I think sometimes Occam's razor is the solution, and it is actually the answer to it. Again, Occam's razor basically being the simplest explanation and the most straightforward explanation, rather than this real big convoluted conspiracy involving multiple people and, you know, all this coordination and people maintaining a certain level of discretion. That's usually not the case in my view. But I will say with this one, though, it felt a little different because I don't know if y'all remember this, but I think when it first happened, we didn't have a video of it, or we didn't have anything, because they said like, oh, the guards were asleep, and oh, not only were the guards asleep, but the guards also wound up losing the footage. They weren't recording it, and no one saw him, and all these weird things about like how a high profile member in custody of the U.S. government all of a sudden had no eyes on him when he was suicidal and got put on suicide watch. So very weird, but I will say that started the conspiracy theories, and a lot of people would believe it, including myself, in some areas where it came down to like, I don't really know if this guy killed himself. I don't know what happened. I'm not saying all these different things, but like, I'm not the only one who would have believed that he didn't kill himself. We go back to the next part in the timeline here. And they said, Trump shares a tweet from right-wing comedian Terrence Williams, which claims that Bill and Hillary Clinton were involved in Epstein's death. After criticism, he doubles down because he always does. Mind you, he was the president at this point. So that decorum stuff from our leaders was well out the window from this point. But a spokesperson for the Clinton says that the family knows nothing about the crimes committed by Epstein, who was known to have a number of famous and powerful associates, including Prince Andrew. Trump himself was friends with Epstein, which is kind of my take on where this whole thing is ultimately going to go. And in 2002 said he had known Epstein for 15 years, describing him as a terrific guy. The pair later fell off following a bidding war on a Florida property. I wonder if they have that tweet from Trump about it. Let's see real quick what we have. Do we have that tweet? And it's gone. Okay. All right. All right. That's fine. All right. Let's keep it going. So, basically, they said in 2019 in August, the whole phrase "Epstein didn't kill himself" began to spread online. Yeah, this is one of those things where people would just start saying it. It'd be like, oh man, what's that Shannon Sharp thing? It'd be like, roses are red, violets are blue, Raptors in 5, whatever it might be. People would start saying, "I know I killed that." Guys, I don't watch that much sports besides like UFC, so my bad. Okay, but but it wound up being like everyone started saying at the end of everything, Epstein didn't kill himself, by the way. And it wasn't even one of the crazy ones, too. It was not even one of the crazy conspiracy theories. But that's when it started. So then you go 2 years later, you get Ghislaine Maxwell, which is his ex-girlfriend, longtime partner and confidant. And she was convicted of sex trafficking. Sex trafficking. In a lot of ways, she was the madam. They were saying that she was the one who kind of facilitated it and groomed the girls to, deal with Epstein and in a gross situation, whatever was going on there. I mean, dude absolutely would have gotten convicted and thrown into jail for a long period of time had he not passed, however that might have been. But she was around to face the consequences, and so she did. But again, that point there is going to get a little, I'd say, weird later on as we continue on this timeline of events. So, all right, let's keep it going. So then we have January of last year. A trove of court documents identifying associates of Epstein are unsealed, and the documents, which have been filed as part of a lawsuit against Maxwell in 2015 by Epstein's victims, Virginia Giuffre. I completely butchered that. My bad. Bill Clinton, Michael Jackson, and David Copperfield and Trump were among those named in the documents, although none of the men accused of any wrongdoing. Geoffrey claimed that Epstein and Maxwell were forced into sexual encounter with Prince Andrew at the age of 17, and she sued Prince Andrew over the alleged sexual abuse. The suit settled in early 2022, and Andrew has denied any wrongdoing. Now, I think this is important, not the suit itself, but the concept of the documents being made public and the people who might be in it. Because here's really my take when it comes to all of this, guys. And I need you to hear me. I 100% believe Trump is in the Epstein files. Now, that does not mean I do not believe that there is evidence of him doing anything wrong in these files. But I think with the way that this story has blown up and with the way that this conspiracy theory has lived and been like fueled over the years, especially by right wingers, this is one of those things where it is not necessarily like no one's going to have the nuance, because they didn't have the nuance at the time of saying you are mentioned in the files, but that does not mean that you yourself are not some pedophile, right? And so what is really happening here is I think Donald Trump is in the files, but he just doesn't want to be. Again, that doesn't mean he's doing anything, but it means just being mentioned in it is bad enough, especially in the world of politics, because people unfortunately do not have nuance to do that, and they don't have nuance because nuance is not rewarded in politics. Like whenever you're trying to be the one who's trying to think through things and trying to sift through minor details, or you put yourself in a certain position where like maybe you even apologize, there is no rewards for any of that in politics. So let's keep going. I'll get back on that thought again with my belief that Trump is in the files, but we'll and I have some more expanding on that to do. But let's keep it going for now. All right. So so Trump was asked about it. Trump is then asked about the Epstein on the campaign trail. So he's running for president, and he's asked in an interview if he would declassify the 9/11 files, the JFK files. He says yes. Then if asked about if he classified the Epstein files, he initially says yes, but adds, but I think that declassifying the Epstein files less so because, you know, you don't want to affect people's lives if there's phony stuff in there. I had a link for this one because it was actually kind of embarrassing. Hold on, let me see if I can find that one because that's the one where it keeps getting played up now. Where guys, if you see it, and I'm really gonna try to find it. If you see it, you notice that when it comes to other things, Trump is usually very, very confident. He's usually very confident in his ability to like double down, play his character, take shots, throw shots at people, and do it all unapologetically. But when it comes to this Epstein stuff, you'll notice he's always a little bit like tiptoeing around it. He's always trying not to say, you know, too much. And it's always kind of interesting to see. So hold on. I'm gonna see if I can find that clip because I think it's better than reading it. I've seen it 1,000 times. I actually had it before I started the stream here, and I had it saved somewhere, and now I can't find it. So, oof. All right. If I could find it, guys, I will bring it back, and we could take it from there. But I think for now, I'm probably in a position where I'm not gonna be able to find this thing. Okay. You know what? Just one last second. I might be able to find it. Man. You can't be prepared for everything, guys. I'm sorry. I don't have a producer. I am my own producer. All right. Listen, I can't find it. If I could find it, then I would. I wish they linked it in this particular timeline. You know what? Maybe this timeline has it, actually. Let's see. Do they have it? No. All right. Fair enough. Let's keep it going, guys. All right. So he's asked about it in the campaign trail, and basically they ask him, and he says yes, and then kind of walks it back and is like, maybe no, right? And the answer is no, he's not doing it. And again, the reason why I believe that is because he's in it. So let's just call it for what it is, right? Let's just call it for what it is. Okay. All right, let's keep going. So now we go to February of this year in 2021. So an interview with Fox News, Pam Bondi's asked, the DOJ may be releasing the list on the Epstein clients. Will that really happen? And she says, it's sitting on my desk right now to review. This is the part that is embarrassing. And I believe this one actually has the clip. So let's check it out together. Watch it be an ad or something that I can't actually skip. Don't. Oh man.
Business out here isn't easy.
I don't know if we want to give Amazon any more clout here, but I mean, it's fine. It's fine. We're here. There.
Oh no!
You know, I saw your appearance at CPAC with Ben and with Ted Cruz, and one of the things that you alluded to, and this is something Donald Trump has talked about, the DOJ may be releasing the list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients. Will that really happen?
It's sitting on my desk right now to review. That's been a directive by President Trump. I'm reviewing that. I'm reviewing JFK files, MLK files. That's all in the process of being reviewed because that was done at the directive of the president from all of these agencies.
Okay, and that is where this is going to get hilarious later because they are later going to come to us and tell us that, oh, by the way, the files don't exist. So We'll get to that point in a bit. We'll get to that point in a bit in the timeline. But like, this is just a cluster, guys. I'm sorry. Everything about this situation is embarrassing. Um, Real quick, I got a chat from Fun P with the question for me in this regard. Uh, did you vote for Trump? No, no, I did not. I did not. I didn't hate the guy, but I absolutely did not support the guy. I did not like his policies. I did not like a lot of the energy that he brought to the country in reference to everyone fighting each other and the like post-truth world we now live in, or post-fact world, where I think before the Trump era, let me clean this up a little bit here. My bad. I think before the Trump era, we basically lived in a time where people would at least try to stick to what the truth was, even if there was a veneer of like, even if there was bullshit, like there was BSing. I'm trying to keep it YouTube friendly. They at least didn't they at least weren't so brazen with it. And in the Trump era, I think on one hand you can appreciate that people are just telling you who they are, but on the other hand, I think we are in a place where they will just double down on bold-faced lies, and there is like no accountability for it now. Um, so yeah, I mean, I'm going off on a tangent here. There's a lot of different ways I can answer that, but did I vote for Trump? No, I did not. All right, let's keep it going. Thanks for the chat in, by the way. I really appreciate it.
So if you
Oh, wrong one. All right, let's close this. Let's keep it going. All right, so remember, Pam Bondi now says that list is on her desk, and we are supposed to believe that she was reviewing it and she was 100% prepared and ready to do something about it. So after that, we got this BS PR move where they released some files. They basically got a whole bunch of conservative influences together, and they gave them this binder that had a whole bunch of redacted public information, and it was a giant nothing burger. And they tried to celebrate it as like, oh, we got them, and people were like, oh yeah, we're gonna they're gonna expose it. All these like online conservative folks like Twitter, like the cat turds and all these guys, like, oh yeah, they're gonna get them in these files. Only to realize that those files were nothing. It was a giant nothing burger. There was nothing in it, and it was ridiculous. So I contain little new information, more like none. It was just a blatantly BS PR move that backfired spectacularly. Okay, let's keep it going. All right, so now we go back to last month, and this is the point in which I think I did a video on this before, where Elon Musk and Donald Trump started to get into their beef, and this happened after the big beautiful bill was being discussed, and Elon Musk did not get his EV credits, all that was slashed off, and all these other things that he didn't want his guy in NASA that he wanted to put in head of a very particular important role was denied by Trump because he's a Democrat, and they started to feud on Twitter, and basically Elon Trump went and dropped that bomb. Oh, and by the way, Trump is in the Epstein files. do we have that tweet? No, because it's deleted. All right, you know what? It's fine. But listen, when he said that, I guys, we got to chat. We got to chat. Oh, hold on. Sorry, guys, we got to chat here, okay? Because when Elon Musk said that, I feel like that was a no duh moment, right? Like I here's the thing that I just seriously do not seem to understand. Does anyone who actually support Trump and who is very, 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 very adamant about the release of the Epstein files believe that he like really has no chance of being mentioned in them? Again, like I mentioned earlier, I'm not saying that he did something. I'm not saying that he did the worst of the worst like Jeffrey Epstein himself. But as I mentioned, being mentioned in the files alone would be an indictment on anybody in the current climate, because that's what a lot of these folks are going after. They Bill Clinton's probably in there and all these things. And yeah, he probably is, right? Like all these things, all these people, they're trying to, they were really looking for Democrats or people who are left leaning being in there. And while that's certainly possible, I felt like they were never, for whatever weird reason, considering the fact that your boy is likely in there. You know what I mean? Like him and Jeffrey Epstein were friends. Like I heard somewhere and I would have to find it, but like the first time him and Melania like had a situation was on the plane, when on Jeffrey Epstein's plane itself. So like the dude was like friendly with Trump, right? They were friends at some point. Yes, they fell out, but when you're talking about these files to go over this dude's history and some of the things he did and some of the people he might have met, why is it that you believe that Trump has no possibility on being on there? I would argue, along with Elon, he is on there. And that's the reason why this entire thing is happening the way it is. This entire embarrassing cover up that we're watching before us, right? Now, again, I don't have evidence for what it is that they're hiding, but I will just say that I think Trump is at least mentioned in these files, and that's why they're not releasing it. Doesn't mean there's anything bad, again, but the sheer mention is not good in the current climate. All right, let's keep it going after we read Elon Musk's obvious Trump is in the Epstein file, because he probably is. I think if you have a functioning brain and a little bit of objectivity, then you can automatically determine, yeah, you know what? He's probably in the files. And if you can't see that, then like, I don't know. All right, so then we go a few days ago. We got July 7th. The DOJ announces that Epstein did not keep a client list and that there is no more files related to his sex trafficking investigation, and would make it public. The department releases an 11-hour video of a scene outside of Epstein's cell during the hours before and after his death, showing that no one entered or left the room, but a minute of footage is missing, prompting further speculation. Bondi says the missing minute is due to the Bureau of Prisons resetting the video at the exact moment. So, all right. So here's what I want to go through real quick, because I think it's important. I think it's important to kind of just cover that. I don't have that full clip, but you know what I do have? I do have a clip from Breaking Points with Crystal and Sagar and Jetty going through that. You know what? I can just find it here. Let's go to the tube. Let's see. I will go. Let's see. I actually have it somewhere. We'll just look for it. Breaking Points. I saw them cover it today, so I think they'll have the clip for me. So I'll just take it where I could get it. All right, cool. Well, let's review and react to this video together, guys, and then we'll keep it going on the other end.
That's a very, very good transition here to this so-called video, and now some of the reporting that's actually come out of that video. So let's take a listen, take a look, shall we? Let's go and put it up here on the screen from Wired.com. If people don't know Wired, technology-based magazine, one of the best tech kind of publications that's out there. Metadata shows the FBI's quote raw Jeffrey Epstein prison video was likely modified. Metadata embedded in the video and analyzed by Wired, an independent video forensic experts, shows that rather than being a direct export from the prison surveillance system, the footage was modified, likely using the professional editing tool Adobe Premiere Pro. The file appears to have been assembled from at least 2 source clips, saved multiple times, exported, uploaded to the DOJ website, where it was presented as, quote, raw footage. That is, interesting, isn't it? The metadata analysis shows, at the very least, that there was some manipulation. I mean, we can say,
guys, that is embarrassing if true. I just want to say that right now, right? Like, it's like we are in the age where everybody has the ability to kind of see what's going on with the metadata of a particular video. You just have to understand that if you put out something and you are in the position, like you are a, government agency, and you know that everything you do is going to be under scrutiny, then you should understand that people are going to double check, triple check, quadruple check anything you put out, especially when it's in reference to this story, because understand this, guys. This isn't just some video footage that got put out now that they are saying is potentially edited and is missing 1 minute of footage at a very particular point. What they're saying is that before this point here, like, this is the context you guys have to remember. Before this video was even put out, we were told that the video didn't even exist. Do you guys remember this? We were told the video did not even exist. Like, oh, the guards were asleep and something happened with the footage and, you know, it got destroyed or it was off. All some nonsense. I can't even remember now, but I do remember being told that the footage didn't even exist. So color me surprised when now we actually have a video. And again, guys, listen. What sucks about this whole thing is that it's very, very possible that this can be a giant nothing burger. But when you think about the Streisand effect and how you doing everything you can to get people to look the other way on a particular situation only fuels and draws their attention closer is exactly what's happening here, and it's pretty hilarious. So yeah, this is kind of funny. Let's keep going in this clip. I think they have the video. So let's keep it going.
Sympathize, perhaps, in some respects, if you're like, hey, here's all the footage that we have. We edited it for clarity or something, but they called it raw. Okay, they called it raw. Let's be clear about raw. Now, let's go ahead and put the video up on the screen just to show, you know, some of the problems. So everybody, take a look. Let's loop that again, guys, shall we? Look at the timestamp. It jumps from 11:58 to midnight at 12 a.m. Now, remember the explanation here from Pam Bondi about that missing minute. I've personally never heard of a camera system like this. Let's go ahead and play A10 for how the Attorney General responds to why there's a missing 1 minute from the tape.
And the minute missing from the video, we released the video showing definitively the video was not conclusive, but the evidence prior to it was showing he committed suicide. And what was on that, there was a minute that was off the counter. And what we learned from Bureau of Prisons was every night, they redo that video. It's old, from like 1999. So every night the video is reset, and every night should have the same minute missing. So we're looking for that video to release that as well, showing that a minute is missing every night. And
I'm sorry, but guys, do you feel that? Do you just feel that internal cringe right there, just watching that, like watching someone bomb so damn hard while being on camera? Now listen, I've done it plenty of times, okay? I've hopped on this camera here and I've said things, and I watch back some of my old videos and I cringe too. But like, I know how it feels. Watching someone bomb that damn hard because they are trying their best to keep it together. What did she say? It is definitively not definitive or something like that. I might have even said that clearer and smoother than she did. But scrambling, guys, is what we call this right here. Scrambling. All right, let's. Oh man, let's keep it going.
that's it on Epstein.
Right, so every night there's 1 minute of missing footage. Now, you know, this is one of the most secure prisons in the United States of America. I have a dumbass Ring camera, and I have a more sophisticated video system than the Bureau of Prisons. I mean, that actually is kind of believable.
Possible,
that is theoretically believable, but, you know, I'm just a little bit skeptical, especially whenever they're not releasing any evidence or any of this other
I
stuff.
mean, it's just always like,
Yeah.
okay, all the other cameras happen to not be working, and the guards happen to be sleeping, and the way this was previously presented to us was basically like, listen, we just don't have the video to definitively prove either way.
Yeah.
And now it's like, no, we do have the video, and here it is, and it definitely definitively proves it. And then instantly there's questions about what this camera angle is and what it's showing and why is there a minute missing, and by the way, you said this was raw footage, and we now know that it's been edited and manipulated in some kind of a way. So again, there's just no reason to trust. And recall, guys, they came out with a super definitive, multiple times actually, statements of saying there was just nothing there.
Yeah.
Like, we have decided, Kash Patel and Joe Rogan, we looked into it, we did the research, we are definitively, conclusively saying he definitely killed himself. And this video is what we're supposed to use to like have total faith that they're telling us the truth and there's no there, etc. And immediately we notice these inconsistencies, and they're spinning and portraying this in a way that is just fundamentally dishonest from what the video actually reflects.
Yeah, and guys, I think we'll leave it there. I will link to their full video and their discussion on in the description here below if you want to take a look at it and see what they have to say. But I mean, I'm pretty much echoing some of their sentiments because it's actually one of those ridiculous things that like I said, I'm not even conspiracy minded like that, but just the way this is all playing out, you're just like, guys, like, are y'all okay? Like, are you okay? This is like a giant mess. And in fact, like, let me pull up that clip that that Crystal's talking about here about like Kash Patel on Joe Rogan, because guys, you got to understand something about this Kash Patel guy. He was before he was the FBI director, he's one of those big conspiracy theory guys. Like, oh, I'm gonna go into the, I'm gonna tear down the FBI, and I'm gonna go into the Hoover Building, and not gonna be left standing anymore. I think they actually mentioned it in this clip too, him saying some of that stuff. And now that he's in there, you know, he's kind of realizing, oh, you know, never mind. And listen, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with having a certain view when you're on the outside and you're not in the know, then becoming more educated on a matter and changing your position. In fact, I think that's what we all should do, right? As we get more information and as you become more educated on situations, then you should change your mind. If you're not changing your mind after getting more evidence and new information, then you're ridiculous, right? But it's just so funny to see how, like, they didn't even make that consideration before they were in office. Like, they were 100% going full bore down the rabbit hole of just every conspiracy theory and every big government is out to get you narrative that they can possibly find, only to find themselves now in a position where they are doing the exact thing that they used to fight against. So like, I got a super clip of the FBI director and the deputy FBI director and how they used to sound out of office right here. So give me 1 second. I'm going to get that clip for y'all. We are going to take over this one here. All right, let's take a look at this. This is a super mix of you know, your guy Dan Bongino and Cash Patel. Let's reflect here.
Story go.
Who has Jeffrey Epstein's
Black Book?
Black Book?
FBI.
But who? That is that. I mean, there's.
Oh, that's under direct control of the director of the FBI.
What the hell are the House Republicans doing? They have the majority. You can't get the list? Put on your big boy pants and let us know who the pedophiles are.
Would you declassify the Epstein files?
Yeah.
Oh, there it is.
All right.
I guess I would. I think that less so because, you know, you don't know it. You don't want to affect people's lives if it's phony stuff in there because there's a lot of phony stuff with that whole world. But I think I would.
Real quick, guys, that's the clip I was looking for like 20 minutes ago. So like, there it is. I think that's probably where I seen it. But yeah, he always kind of doubled back when it comes to this Epstein stuff. But let's keep it going. Now again, you saw that, and this guy right here is now the deputy director of the FBI. Let's see what he was saying about everything, you know, a little while ago.
This isn't about Epstein or 9/11 or JFK or RFK. It is, but it isn't. It's about a bigger thing. If you're lying about that, you're lying about everything. Who's on the Epstein tapes, folks? Who's on those tapes? Who's in those black books? Why have they been hiding it?
And this is something Donald Trump has talked about. The DOJ may be releasing the list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients. Will that really happen?
It's sitting on my desk right now to review. That's been a directive by President Trump. Everything's going to come out to the public. The public has a right to know. Americans have a right to know.
Okay, so yeah, as we as we found out later, you know, none of that stuff held up in the way that they were saying it. But yeah, that's that's what makes it so hilarious. Because again, not saying they don't have their reasons. I think the reasons are Trump related. But you know, this is a damn shame. And so let me show you another clip just so we kind of are on the same page about, you know, this Cash Patel guy and how he changed his tune from before to when he is now the sitting FBI director. Here's a clip from Joe Rogan. We're gonna watch this together.
The video from the island.
Again, we're going to give you.
Start this over.
The narrative has always been that there's video, but what about the video from the island?
Again, we're going to give you everything we can, and people have to remember, we're not going to re-victimize women. We're not going to put that shit back out there. It's not happening because then he wins. Not doing it. You want to hate me for it? Fine. Again, logical play out. If there was a video of some guy or gal committing felonies on an island and I'm in charge, don't you think you'd see it?
Right. If you have it.
Right.
But you can't say that you have it.
No, we're giving you everything we have.
And is there video from the island?
Not of what you want.
So this narrative might not be accurate, that there's video of these guys doing this.
Exactly.
Have you guys reviewed everything that you have?
Almost. Like I mean, yes, we have, and now we're figuring out how to put it out.
But is there footage?
If there was footage of anyone doing anything else, we would have opened a case.
All right. So
Yeah, and it's all with little kids.
If there was a video of some guy or gal committing
I don't know why they added this
on an
background
island,
music.
and I'm in charge, don't you think you'd see it?
Okay. Well, all right. Sure. Now listen, that clip has a couple edits in there that I'm not sure about if they, cut it out at a certain point. I probably should have just gotten the whole clip from Joe Rogan, but I didn't sift through the whole hour or two long podcast thinking that this one kind of had it, but you do get the gist. He basically went on Joe Rogan and was like, hey, there's nothing to see here, guys. Like, oh, if I had it, I would show you, and all these different things. And again, like I mentioned earlier, after, when you are a guy who has no access to classified information and you were just like talking smack on a podcast or a YouTube channel or a live stream like I am right now, you can, assert whatever you really want. But the only thing I was saying is that these guys never had any humility about it. And they use these narratives to push forward their agenda. And they're like basically coming out of 2024. A lot of these guys and every single one of these conspiracy theories and narratives that they pushed were like really being adopted by a lot of the public. And in a lot of ways, I think it kind of contributed to what was the Trump wave in 2024, right? And so when you think about it, it's like all these guys kind of went and they did all these things and said all these things. And mind you, like if Harris had won, they would still be on the sideline doing the exact same thing right now. But now that they are in charge and they have to govern and they have to be faced with hard decisions, like finding out this information and figuring out what to do when their guy is probably in the files, which is what I think is really happening again, then you see them scrambling and making all these terrible, crazy moves, as we will, discuss in a little bit here. Let's get back to the timeline as we were going further. We're almost done here. But we're almost done here and back up to modern day. But let's get to the part, and then I got one more clip to go over with you. Okay, so I might have mentioned this, but let's go back. We'll go back to July 7th. All right, the DOJ announces that Epstein did not keep a client list. Yeah, we did go over this, and said no more files related to the sex trafficking investigation would be made public. The department releases an 11-hour video of the scene outside of Epstein's cell during the hours right before and after his death, showing that no one who entered the room. But a minute after footage mission, prompting further speculation. And this is the one we went over with Crystal and Saga from Breaking Points. All right, now later on, they said the backlash begins as right-wing media commentators begin to lash out at the DOJ. Laura Loomer, the 32-year-old conspiracy theorist whose influence over Trump has come under scrutiny, accuses Bondi of covering up child sex crimes. No one is buying this. Next, the DOJ will say Jeffrey Epstein actually never even existed. This is over the top sickening, and Alex Jones, the right-wing commentator, conspiracy theorist, writes on social media, on Truth Social, the right-wing Trump-owned platform where people usually united praise for the president and administration. Numerous users criticized the government over Epstein. Now, again, this is kind of that thing that I was mentioning. Number one, this is hilarious because if there is no list, then why is Ghislaine Maxwell even in jail for trafficking, right? She is in jail for trafficking because there are people who are known to have been involved with the trafficking of minors. Now, you can argue, hey, it's not a list, it's just people who did something and she kind of went ahead and orchestrated it. But I'd argue that's still a list if there's people that she pushed into doing these things with the underage girls, or brought the underage girls to these folks to do these things. So whether you want to call it the list or a list, there's a list. And so if there wasn't, why is this lady in jail right now? Right? So that was already nonsense on its face, and they definitely tried to walk that back after the fact. But again, this backlash where people go out and they go after Pam Bondi and not Trump is embarrassing to me. Because again, if this was Biden or Obama, and there was someone in their administration who had done something who was in charge of something, like generally speaking, and they wouldn't call them out. They'd call Obama out, or they call Biden out, right? Like it'd be like, like some person gets killed in like Texas somewhere, and all of a sudden it'd be Biden's fault. Whereas like it's stuff like this where ultimately these decisions for what would happen, they're probably getting the final approval from Trump on whether or not they do it. And it's my view, he's probably saying no, but people will never blame Trump. Even when it's something Trump does, they'll bend backwards to be like, oh, it's the people around him, it's this and that. And like, listen, sure, maybe some of that could be true in some instances. But understand that the buck stops with the president. And in a lot of ways, he has influence on whether or not these things come out. And he's pushing back to not allow them to do so for whatever reason. Again, I think the reason is he's in the files. I don't know how much times I've said it, but I need you guys to understand that is what it seems like to me. All right, let's keep it going as we're getting closer and closer to our present day. So we have Dan Bongino in July 9th. Deputy director of the FBI, who spent years pushing conspiracy theories about Epstein's deaths, reportedly clashes with Bondi at the White House. Bondi accused Bongino of leaking to news outlets after News Nation reported the FBI wanted to release more information on Epstein months ago, but was prevented from doing so. I believe this 100% because, and this is where this next section goes, where they're saying he's considering stepping down from his post. Because I believe, like, if you have a principle bone in your body, then you will not necessarily be able to just push forward with something like this, where it is fundamentally against what you stand for, right? At some point, something, and if they're telling you no, you can't do it for XYZ reason, then you are now at odds. You have a moral dilemma, right? And you got to make a move. So I think even the fact that these thoughts about him wanting to potentially resign does speak to his integrity a bit. Now, again, these are just rumors, and if he stays there, then like it means nothing. But I think even the thought of the rumor itself speaks a little bit better for him, because again, this guy was he basically spent most of his time just like yelling at Biden and doing like giving like boomer rage bait content, and he was doing well for himself, right? Like all these guys working in the public sector versus doing what they were doing with on their podcast is they're taking a hit to do this, and it's funny because you start to think like, all right, well, now these guys are cratering. Are they trying to find a way to maneuver back into what they did before? And I'm sure they are. I'm sure that's kind of what this is as well. But yeah, no, it's still embarrassing though. But okay. And look, I don't want to give them too much credit because like I don't want to do that. I don't think they deserve the credit with a lot of the things that they kind of pushed. But I'm at least trying to be fair here. So all right, let's keep it going. Trump calls for calm. Trump writes a lengthy. We're gonna read this, and this is kind of where it ends. This is as of July 12th. This is where we ended. This is where this whole thread ends. But we're gonna read the truth that's social. We're gonna read the truth that Trump posted here, guys. I would attempt a Trump impersonation, but it's gonna be really bad, and I don't think I can do it for like such a long truth. So we'll read it real quick. We'll take out the main important points and we'll go from there. All right, here we go. What's going on with my boys and in some cases, gals? They're all going after Attorney General Pam Bondi because they are cowards and they are afraid to call you out. This is why they're going after Pam Bondi. When it comes to Trump, there's always a scapegoat. People will call out everyone else except him. It's embarrassing. Always embarrassing. Let's keep it going. Who is doing a fantastic job? We're on one team, MAGA, and I don't like what's happening. We have a perfect administration, the talk of the world, and selfish people are trying to hurt it. All over a guy who never dies, Jeffrey Epstein. That's objectively hilarious that he said that. Because there's kind of a point there. Dude died in like 2019 and they're still doing Epstein stuff. It's kind of crazy. But, had you just released the files, then people would have been over it, right? But, okay, let's keep it going. For years, it's Epstein over and over again. Why are we giving publicity to the files written by Obama? Oh man, Obama in his retirement from the presidency is sitting down writing Epstein files. This is great. I did not know this. Guys, we are learning new things every single day. Written by Obama, crooked Hillary, Comey, Brennan, and the losers and criminals of the Biden administration who conned the world with Russia hoax, 51 intelligence agents, the laptop from hell, and more. I love how he just finds random ways and random reasons to shoehorn his political opponents into being the reasons for any and everything happening to him at any given moment in time. It's actually kind of impressive. This is like Obama and Hillary Clinton. Dog, you still talking about Hillary Clinton? You beat this woman 8 years. You beat this woman 10 years ago, man. Let it go. Damn. Damn, man. We still talking about Hillary Clinton in 2025? Yo. Oh, man. All right. Where am I? Oh, okay. Here we go. They created the Epstein files, just like they created the fake Hillary Clinton / Christopher Steele dossier that they used on me, and now my so-called friends are playing into their hands. How was that, guys? It was decent. Let's keep it going. Why didn't these radical left lunatics release the Epstein files? If there was anything in there that could have hurt MAGA movement, why didn't they use it? Now, here's the funny part. This is smart on his part, I say here, because this is true. But the reason I'd say that they probably don't release it is because there is likely people again, Bill Clinton was on that Bill Clinton was on that plane as well. So it's possible that there's a mutually assured destruction kind of situation there, because if Epstein was kidnapped in 2019 and Biden stepped into office in 2021, yeah, they could have released it too if it was damaging on Trump. But if they released it because it was damaging on Trump and there's some damaging information on people on their side, then there'd be an incentive not to release it. So I think he's smart on his point trying to bring this up as a reason. But the problem is that the people on the left really don't care if Bill Clinton or something like that is implicated. We just say release it. But for the people who want to do everything they can to protect Trump, they do not want to see something like that. Actually, I think the people who are interested and the people who are so far gone enough to not believe he's in there think he's not in there. But I think there's some people who believe that there's a possibility and are now moving towards saying, oh, why are we even focused on Epstein? Like Ben Shapiro and some other guys who are in the past couple of weeks trying to say, why are we still talking about Epstein, guys? Why don't we just move on? And it's you must be embarrassed. You might have you no shame, sir. Ask everyone, why are we still talking about Epstein, given that the right has pushed this narrative for years at this point? Years. All right. Damn, where am I? I keep going off here. I don't even know where I'm at right now. Why didn't the radical left lunatics release the Epstein files? If there's anything that could have hurt the MAGA movement, why didn't they use it? They haven't given up on John F. Kennedy or Martin Luther King Jr. Martin Luther King Jr. files. No matter how much success we've had securing the border, deporting criminals, fixing the economy, energy dominance, and a safer world where Iran will not have nuclear weapons, it's never enough for some people. We're about to achieve more in 6 months than in any other administration has achieved in 100 years. And we're about to do, and we have so much more to do. Okay, then do it. Like, go ahead, my guy. Have fun. Do whatever it is that you're going to do. But just like release these files so people can move on. We are saving the country and making America great again, which will continue to be our complete priority. The left is imploding. Kaj Patel and the FBI must be focused on investigating voter fraud, political corruption, Act Blue, and the rigged, stolen election of 2020. Dude, let it go. You lost. Why are we still talking about a rigged 2020 election? And this is the stuff I'm talking about. This is the stuff I was talking about in the Trump era. There is like no accountability. My guy tried to steal an election. He literally went and tried to put forth fake electors, like did a legitimate scam. It's not just 2020. It's not just like January 6th, guys. Like, dude legitimately tried to coup the government. He tried to see to it that he won after losing. And now he is doubling, tripling, quadrupling down. Still at this point talking about the 2020 stolen election. Let it go. You lost. It's for reasons like this. I wish you did not win in 2024, man. It's like no accountability, no like reckoning for that. Like, I'm not even saying I wanted to see some of these like criminal cases go through. I just didn't want to see him be rewarded with the presidency again. It's like, my guy, you tried to overthrow, like you tried to do a coup against the country. That's crazy. All right, let's keep going. Where am I? I'm lost. I keep going off. All right. Instead of spending month after month looking, yeah, there it is. The rigged stolen election of 2020 and arresting thugs and criminals, instead of spending month after month looking at nothing but the same old radical left-inspired documents on Jeffrey Epstein. See, and that's another thing too, is that he's able to just call everything radical left, and there's enough dummies who buy it. Like, oh, it's radical left. Like, but the thing is, the reason why the people actually aren't buying it this time is because it was a conspiracy theory pushed mainly by the right. So you can't all of a sudden start calling it radical left as a way to try to like jujitsu move people away from wanting to, like, people being interested about it, right? So, all right, let's keep going. Let Pam Bondi do her job. She's great. Oh man, the 2020 election was rigged and stolen, and they tried to do the same to us in 2024. Then why didn't they? If they could have rigged and stole it, they would have, right? Stupid. But let's keep it going. That's why she's looking into it as AG and so much more. 1 year ago, our country was dead. Now it's the hottest country anywhere in the world. Let's keep it that way and not waste the time and energy on Jeffrey Epstein. Somebody that nobody cares about. Thank you all for your attention on this matter. Now, that is a stretch because people obviously care about that. I think there was this thing about the Google searches on Jeffrey Epstein going over a crazy. Let's see. Actually, let's just ask. What is the percentage of Google searches for Jeffrey Epstein? Trends. Did I word that correctly? Great. Google searches for Epstein increased by 1,900% over a week. But nobody cares about him, right? Oh, my days. Oh, man. This keeps getting funnier and funnier. All right, guys, listen. I got one more clip I want to share with you, and then we're gonna wrap up here. It's when I tell you that there's a general sentiment about general sentiment about people might allow Trump to get away with certain things, but this one, for whatever reason, is like starting to kind of rub a lot of people the wrong way, including people who support him, who had advocated for him, who even helped him get elected. I would say you could look no further than this next clip we have here of Andrew Schultz from the Flagrant podcast, kind of going over a little bit of this situation here.
And are people still talking about this guy, this creep? That is unbelievable. Do you want to waste the time, and do you feel like answering?
I don't mind answering.
I mean, I can't believe you're asking a question on Epstein.
Real quick, it's amazing that these guys have the tin foil hat on. It's actually pretty hilarious. For I love the full commitment to the bit. All right, let's bring it back and continue.
That is unbelievable. Do you want to waste the time, and do you feel like answering?
I don't like answering.
I mean, I can't believe you're asking a question on Epstein at a time like this, where we're having some of the greatest success and also tragedy with what happened in Texas. It just seems like a desecration, but you go ahead.
Sure. First, to back up on that, in February.
So we're stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're the fucking idiots, guys. Just to let you know, we're wasting
look at
time.
us.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a good point.
That is,
Tinfoil
like, in all
hats.
seriousness, that is, I think, what is enraging people right now is it's insulting our intelligence. Like, obviously, the intelligence community is trying to cover it up. Obviously, the Trump administration is trying to cover up. Something changed because they ran on this idea of exposing it all. All these guys had great ideas. Cockeyed Cash, Dan Bongino.
He had clips, dog. He had bars.
He was ready to tear it all down. He was ready to tear down the entire FBI office.
Shut down the Hoover building day one.
Day one.
Them bitch still standing.
And then he goes on Joe Rogan and he's like, listen, do you think if I had it, I wouldn't share it with you?
I do.
Yeah.
I do.
I do believe that 100%, especially when you're staring at me like this, telling me that.
How cockeyed is he? You've said this a few times. Can we get a photo of him really quick?
Once you protect pedophiles, you are the most cockeyed person in the entire world. I never called him cockeyed Cash
He couldn't
before
see
this.
all the other people raping the children. He could only see Epstein.
He's just staring at the bridge of his nose. Like, I don't see anything over here. I watched all 3,000 hours of footage.
Yo, maybe I'm wrong on this, but you keep talking about this Epstein. They keep talking about this Epstein list. I got the list on my desk. Now they're saying nothing happened. So one of two things in my mind is possible. One, you're covering it up, or two, nothing really happened and you exploited the rape of thousands of children to get your man elected.
Yep.
So which one do you want here?
Yeah, and guys, that's I think Akash kind of says it perfectly right there, because it is my view that either way this looks terrible. Because if they are now, if their claims are true, and this is a giant nothing burger, then you have the people who blew it up to make it something now trying to like put Pandora back in the box. Or is that how it goes? Yeah. Okay. They open Pandora's box and they're trying to close it. But I think more realistically, people don't believe that there's nothing there. People believe there's something there, and they're now seeing the government officials under the Trump administration and Trump himself do everything they can to make people look the other way. And at a time where everyone is directly looking at the situation because there's interest there. And the interest is there because of how terrible they have been with covering this whole thing. In fact, I doubt there would be any interest in it had they not done such a terrible job trying to cover it up the way that they are. I find this ridiculous. I mean, like I said, with the story changing from like there is no video to like, oops, there's a video, but like there's nothing happening to there is no files to, oh, you know, it was like to it's on my desk to it's there are no files. This entire thing has been a complete mess, an absolute cluster, and everything about this is embarrassing. So, I mean, look, guys, I don't know how much more I can say about this. I am trying to catch up on this thing myself. I haven't done content in a while, and I've just seen nothing but Epstein nonsense on my timeline. So I figured, let's get on here, let's chop it up with you guys, let's talk about it, and let us look in disbelief together at the utter incompetence of the Trump administration. So hope you had fun, guys. That is my perspective. I ruined this. I tried to be cool there. Guys, that's my perspective. What's yours? Let me know in the comments down below. Like the video if you haven't already, and subscribe, as I got much more content like this on the way. Guys, what did you think about my thoughts here? Do you feel like I got it right? Are you sharing my sentiments? Are you surprised by anything that we have seen, heard, or, you know, witnessed here today? Let me know in the comments. I will be sure to do these a lot more. I'm going to try to be a little bit more consistent here. But overall, let me know, again, if you like the content, and I will see y'all in the next one. So until next time, YouTube, peace.